All right, Mr. Claxton's algebra students, we are going to do multi-step problems with unit conversions. You might also call this dimensional analysis. When you convert, it is very important that you first identify the problem. What is the question asking you to convert to? And then where are you starting? And then in between, you have to know those equivalences, those conversion factors. You have to identify what those are. Some of you may need to look them up, look some of them up. Sometimes they give them to you within the problem. So I do want to make sure that you do pay attention to the units and write the units down. Sometimes in math, we forget to write down the units. I know it drives the science teachers crazy too. You also have to know that common units can be canceled. So if a common unit exists in the numerator and denominator, because we are multiplying, we can cancel those out. For example, centimeters over centimeters would become 1. The centimeters cancel out. You'll see that later on. When we multiply fractions, we just multiply straight across, multiply the numbers straight across the numerator, and the numbers, multiply the numbers straight across the denominator. So let's go ahead and get started with the first example. All right, so we have Danielle. They are dressing up for Halloween this year. Her and her friends. It looks like they're buying some material here for capes. So they tell you if each cape uses 4 feet of cloth, how many yards of cloth will they use for 3 capes? So how many yards is what they're asking. How many yards of cloth will they use for 3 capes? We're going to start with 3 capes. So that's 3 capes over 1. Notice how there's no unit in the denominator because that's where we're starting. That's what we're given. This could appear at any point. I could have put this last if I wanted to. We know that 1 cape equals 4 foot of cloth. So I ask myself this question. What unit do I want to cancel here? I want to cancel capes, and we're going to convert capes to feet. So notice with the red, we're going to convert capes to feet. So I'm going to write capes down here. And that's 1 cape. Probably shouldn't have that S there, but I'm going to keep it the same just for now. I know it's not grammatically correct. And then we've got 4 feet. And that's 4 feet of cloth is what it takes. And so we know that capes would cancel. We could cancel capes, and we would be left with feet. Now, I want to convert feet to yards. So I need to put feet diagonal from each other here. And remember, we're multiplying. We're not using proportions for this, although I know that that could be done, but I'm not showing you how to do it that way. And we want to convert feet to yards. So I'm going to put yard up here. If there were more than 1, we'd call it yards. So 1 yard is 3 feet. Do you see how I put the numbers in last? I did my units first. Now, how do I know if I've done, if I'm converting it correctly? Well, I know that capes will cancel with capes. Capes over capes is just 1. Feet will cancel with feet, and I should just be left with yard as a unit. So I should be left with that yard, and it'll probably be yards as a unit. Now, I'm just going to multiply straight across the numerator, straight across the denominator. So notice, I multiplied 3 times 4 times 1 to get 12, and 1 times 3 to get 3. Now I have 12 divided by 3, 12 over 3, which is 4. So that's 4 yards. On to the next example. So we've got Beth, her and her friends. They're planning that superhero movie marathon. They're binge watching some superhero movies in modern terms. She's in charge for the popcorn, Beth is. She knows, or she buys, a 2-pound jar. Those are unopened kernels. So that is where we start here. And then we want to know how many cups of popcorn will her jar make. So after it's popped, how many cups of popcorn will there be? So notice, we want to know how many cups. That's what we have to identify first. Where are we starting? We're starting with 2 pounds. Now, what do they give us as far as conversion factors or equivalences? We know that 1 ounce is equal to 1 quart of popcorn. We know that 16 ounces is equal to 1 pound. We know that 4 cups is equal to a quart. Now, notice here, I have to figure out which one to use first, and I've already laid this out. I know which one to use. If I want to cancel pounds, what would I need to go down here? I would need pounds to go diagonal. So I'm going to go ahead and put pounds diagonal. I'm not going to write the abbreviation. I'm actually going to spell it out. I'm not going to write the LBS. Okay. And actually, it should be pound. There I go again, pluralizing it. So you know pound will cancel with pounds, even though they're not exactly the same. And then we would have ounces up here. I'm going to go back and fill in the numbers later. So what do I want ounces to cancel and become? Well, I want ounces to become quarts. Remember, we're going for cups here, so I want ounces to become quarts. So I would write ounces diagonal, and my conversion factor here says that ounces will become quarts. So I'm just going to go ahead, I will abbreviate that. We'll just go with quart. We won't make it plural. And now I want to convert quarts to cups. So quarts to cups, I want to cancel the quarts. So that's what I want to put diagonal. I want to cancel the quart. So quart. And I want to convert that to cups. Now I'm going to go back here and I'm going to write the numbers. I know that 1 quart is 4 cups. Essentially, by the way, this fraction, I know you're seeing it as 4 over 1, but essentially it's 1 because those are equal. Anytime we have something equivalences over themselves, it's really 1. And that's why we can use this method. That's why it works mathematically. And I'm going to go ahead and put, with the quarts here, we know that 1 ounce is equal to 1 quart. And now you're thinking, yeah, that's 1. And then we've got 16 ounces in 1 pound. So now, I'm going to go ahead and cancel my units just to make sure that I did this correctly. Pounds will cancel with pounds. Again, ounces with ounces, and quart with quart. And I should be left with cup. So I should get my answer in cups. And so now we're going to multiply the numerators straight across, multiply the denominator straight across. And then we're going to simplify. All right, so now we can see we're going to get 128 cups of popcorn. I don't know how many friends are coming to this party, but there might be a lot. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do a third problem with you here. We know that Emmy wants to give her apartment she wants it to look a little better. So she's making drapes. She's making drapes for 6 windows. She plans to make 2 drapes for each window. Each drape will be 84 inches long. And then here's the kicker. How many yards of fabric? So how many yards is what it's asking us. Now, where does she start? We know she's doing 6 windows. And then they give us conversion factors here. We have to go back and identify 2 drapes for each window. So we got 2 drapes for each window. So we've got each drape will be 84 inches. So notice how it just gave us a sentence, and we had to convert that sentence into a conversion factor, or into an equivalence there. And down here is just some common knowledge, things that you should know. There are 3 feet in 1 yard, and 1 feet in 12 inches. Now that's the long way. I go the shorter way here. There's 36 inches in 1 yard. And I knew that I was going to have to get from inches to yards. And we're going to go ahead and I'll get started here just so you can see that. So if I want to cancel windows, I got to have window down here. You might want to pause and try this on your own. And then you can start it and watch me do this, or you can fast forward through it. And so then we have drape on top, or drapes rather. And that'll convert us to drapes. And then if I want to cancel drapes or drape, I would need to put it diagonal, and that will convert to inches. And then if I wanted to cancel inches, I would need to put it diagonal, so I will cancel inches and convert to yards or yard. All right, so you notice that I went ahead and filled in the numbers there. And let's just go ahead and make sure my units cancel. I convert from window to drapes, from drapes or drape to inches, and from inches to yards. And wasn't that what it was asking? How many yards? So I know my answer is going to be in yards. I'm just going to go ahead and write yards here. And now the next step, I'm going to multiply straight across the numerator and then straight across the denominator, and then I'm going to divide those two numbers. All right, now that we've multiplied 6 times 2 times 84 to get 1008, and then 1 times 1 times 1 times 36 to get 36, take 1008 divided by 36, and that will be 28 yards as a final answer. So that's 28 yards of fabric that she's going to need. And that pretty much sums it up. There is another example, and it is a tougher example here. You could probably try that on your own. I will go ahead and pause the video, make sure this is complete, so you can try it on your own. You should pause the video right now. All right, you got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. So make sure that you're canceling those units, those common units. Minutes will cancel. Hours will cancel. And miles will cancel. And look at that. We are left with gallons. And it's asking us how many gallons. So we're going to go ahead and multiply straight across the numerator, straight across the denominator, then divide those two numbers to get our final answer. All right, 75 times 1 times 60 times 1 is 4,500. And we've got 60 times 20 is 1,200. Divide those two, we get 3.75 gallons of gas. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you've learned how to convert multi-step problems with unit conversions.